Wait.
Here we go. We in now.
Okay. What up, world, and welcome to another episode of Beer Talk Now. I'm your host, D. Neal, and on today's episode, I'm here with some great gentlemen. I said greatness before we pressed the record button, so I got to say it again. Greatness out here, man. These four guys, I've definitely been checking out the YouTube and trying to catch them whenever I can. Beer and Banter, man. What's going on with y'all? How are y'all feeling today?
Man, we are great.
Doing good, man. What's going on, everyone?
Man, this to have. I just want to let y'all know I have yet. There's only been one more podcast, the 510 High Score podcast, that has had more than one host that is actually continuous. So they actually stuck together. Nobody got a butt hurt, ego, and everything like that.
Right.
So, man, this is just beautiful. Like I'm gonna jump into it. I did not bring any black-owned brewery beer, so I
did.
Okay. so let me get that out. Yeah, let me get that out the way now. I know it's Black History Month.
Oh no, I'm lying.
Let me not play myself. Shout out Helicoastal Brewing Company. Shout out to Crown and Hobbs, Tio and Benny. Shout out to Weather Souls. Shout out Full Circle, Hunters Point Brewing Company out here in the Bay. Man, this is just, I'm excited. Like I said, I did get beer, but I'll be honest with y'all, this is beer that I got for free when I was stopping by all these breweries and talking to them.
Listen.
So
take it how you can get it.
Right.
Exactly. So I got so we're gonna be doing some East Brother. This is their freight series, so their heavy ale series. They got the English Strong Ale right here. We also gonna do, who I actually did a episode with, or had the pleasure to be on their podcast, was Hen House Brewing Company out of Santa Rosa, California. It was not too far from the Bay. They got the precious metals, and I just got this out the refrigerator, so the condensation is heavy right now. But definitely like that can. My last two, I'm a big fan of this one. I said the beer was great before I even take a sample.
Yep. That's one of the best beers ever, right there.
Selector, come on, man. If you don't know about He-Man, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Man. They from a different generation if they don't know about He-Man.
I told them make a Voltron. I said do Voltron cans, man. Just put hops in there, and then had a black lion at the top, man, with the head. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Right, that's dope.
They don't know. And last but not least, shout out to Drake's Barrel House in San Leandro, California.
Nice.
I did an episode with them. This is Hopolyptic, so this is a IPA. That's good as well. But man, how did y'all get this started? Because y'all 100+ episodes in. Again, four brothers who, like I said, still working together. And I know y'all probably had the tussles in the background. You know, y'all say which way the direction the podcast should go, which way it shouldn't go.
Right.
But
Growing pains. Growing pains. But what got y'all started, man? And just your first experience with craft beer, and if it was as a group, I would love that experience. But if it's for y'all individually, by all means, first and foremost, because I didn't say everybody's name, introduce yourself, and then talk about your experience when it comes to beer.
All right. Who will go first?
Head up, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm Rob. I'm Rob G.
What up, Rob?
What up?
Hi, Rob.
Oh man.
Let me pour up while Rob talking. Go ahead, Rob.
What up, bro? I gotta say something else.
Yeah.
You asked you a question.
God damn, he wasn't even listening.
Rob was just I'm in here. Your first experience with beer, Rob. That's all I was asking. Like, what got you started? Make all
and how we got started.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But see, the way he said it, he first said, I forgot to introduce y'all. What's your name? That's why I got
it. Okay, you're right. I'll take that one.
Well, like I said, I'm Rob G. I initially got craft beer actually through the gateway, craft beer was Blue Moon. That was the my first thing. And I was like, well, this has more flavor than the Bud Lights, the Coors Lights. And I was like, so how do I get more of this? So then we found a company I worked with. We actually drank on the job. They had Yingling. So I was like, Yingling, and it said, I think it said the oldest craft brewery in the nation, something like that. And I was like, oh, craft beer. What is craft beer? So I started looking more into it. And so when I would go to like a restaurant, I would try to see what they have on tap. Anything that seemed local or was not my average run-of-the-mill thing, I would always get that. So that's basically how I got into craft beer. In terms of the podcast, it was originally supposed to be a YouTube show, and I And I was like, I don't want to get all the cameras and all this stuff. I don't want to do all that. I was like,
soft light in the background and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. And I kept on dragging my feet. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to convert this to a podcast. I think Lou had said something like, he was like, oh, I love podcasts, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just turn it to a podcast because I wanted to combine my favorite thing, which was craft beer. And at the time, I didn't know there was a lot of Black folks in craft beer. So once this actually started, and once I started doing research, putting together a podcast, I realized there was a whole community I didn't know about. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. So that's how the podcast came together. Originally, it was going to be the first episode. If you go listen to the first episode, these three brothers were guests on the show. And I realized I don't like talk that much, and I don't even want to talk to myself every week. So I asked them to be on the podcast, and I stuck around for the last 2 years. So I appreciate that. So that's how that started. And we've both been to different beer fests and brew. So we had some learning in terms of we went to some festivals and learned more about beer. We went to a sour tasting the other day. So we've been growing in craft beer together. So that's basically how it all kind of started.
Yo, you know what's funny? Little did you know that COVID would hit, and you really wouldn't need us because you got guests. We got guests on every episode. Yeah. So you wouldn't have been talking to yourself.
We got in early. We got in on this early.
Yeah, y'all found a niche right there.
Right.
Talk, Rob.
Yep, we in there. That's true. If it would have happened a year and a half later, we wouldn't even be on the show.
It would have been by itself. I
don't need nobody. I got a guest every week.
You're gonna be like Charlie Rose at the round table. Just ask like them simple questions and just be quiet.
Larry, it'd be like, Rob King live.
Yep. With it, some spectators.
I
remember we was on the first episode.
Yep, and that's over. and then that happened.
Right.
I'll go next. I'm the youngest of the in the beer journey on the podcast. Like Rob said, I listen to podcasts a lot, so I think that's why Rob asked me to be on the podcast. But I never really drunk beer. Like it was a college thing, and then like with my wife's family, they always drunk Coors Light, so I would drink
Coors.
Yeah, it was Coors Light, and that tasted a little like all right because the other beers like Yingling and Michelob, all that stuff was nasty. Heineken, like I didn't really like it. But being on the podcast with them, they were like, just try the beer. Like you could find it's going to be a beer for you, craft beer. And I like the science behind the beer. So I just been searching the last 2 years. We probably drunk like over 300, tasted over 300 different beers, maybe more. And I settled on no, it's not. It's not. Don't worry about it. So I settled on sours right now and Gozas. They're my faves right now, but I'll taste anything. I'll try just about anything. But yeah, man, 2 years in, and it feels good to drink beer every day and try new things. And like Rob said, I had no idea that it was so many Black folks and people of color in this industry, and that's just to be welcomed and it's just so easy to reach out and talk to people. Like that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, that's my story so far.
The funny thing is, it's not even like it's not, I mean, there's quite a few, but they're also so interconnected. So I think it's like a real community. Like,
everybody knows everything, right?
Everybody like 6 degrees of separation. So that's all cool, right too.
It's almost like closer than 6.
Yeah,
everybody knows everybody. Yeah.
What does that make it? 3 degrees?
Yeah, about 3. I was thinking about 3 to 4. 3 to 4.
I know when I went to Fresh Fest 2019, man, I was like, my girlfriend, she was pregnant at the time with Nova, and I was like, man, I really got to go to this Fresh Fest because I didn't even know about, first of all, Crown and Hops, when I first saw them like on Instagram, and then I started to meet people that either met them here in the Bay, like shout out Josh Digg, who work at Temescal, or even Mario and Chaz, who are the co-founders of Hella Coastal Brewing Company, still working to get their ABC license because, of course, they need a brick and mortar.
Right,
but they're doing a lot of collaborations. But when I found out about them and just saw what they were doing, they drive, and then the Black beer culture, if I got that correct. I don't know if they put that on or it was a joint venture with another group, which a name escapes me, so excuse me for that when they see it. But I was like, okay, yeah, Pittsburgh. Okay, we going.
Yeah. And when that was eye opening for me too. Like a little short story. I did not want to go. The three of them was all for it. They were ready to go, and they had set a deadline. Like, you gotta tell us if you're going or not.
Right. And we got to divide these costs, get this Airbnb. We got to get this rental.
And they was real cool about if I wasn't going to go. Like, if I didn't go, I don't think they would have sweated it, but they would have talked about me the whole trip.
Definitely.
And I probably would have had to quit. I probably had to quit. It would have been too much. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, fuck it, I'm going. And I'll just like, that was the biggest and best experience that I've ever had in the beer journey. Is just seeing so many, like, you go to all these beer fests and it's 1 or 2% black people, and you in the corner at seeing another black person, like, yeah, I see you, boy. you drinking beer.
Definitely.
We've been to beer fest and been people have thought we were other people. We've had that go on, which is strange. We don't look anything like those people. But yeah, man, it was just an eye-opening experience to know that it's so many, to be 99% of the population at a beer fest. Was just good to hear hip hop being played out the speakers, and it's nothing like it. And like you were there, I was there, I didn't see you, and it still was a beautiful thing. Like, everybody has so many different experiences. Pretty much.
My girlfriend was like, slow down, but I was just so excited.
Yeah, exactly.
All these black people, man, and I was just going up there. I met Black Beer Travelers, Brandon, and I just walked up to him, and she was like, he doesn't know you. I was like, I don't give a damn. I was like, what up, man? I'm BeerTalkNow. And he just was stuck, like, this is very awkward. But I'm like, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I just know that
it didn't matter though. It didn't matter. Like, if you knew somebody, like, you just could go up and talk to anybody, get a couple minutes. Everybody was willing to talk.
Yeah, you felt like I belong. Like that credit union commercial. I belong.
Yeah.
Like that. It's crazy that Luke said like he didn't see you there. He didn't notice, but if we was at a regular beer fest, would have noticed.
That was the point. That was the point of me saying I did not see you. It was a great thing that I didn't see him, but he has his own experience at the beer fest, because every time I've been to every other beer fest, I would have saw you.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Like within 5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. If I came first or you came first, whenever we would have locked eyes within seconds.
You could have been on the total opposite side behind the food trucks.
I told you I got my beer, I got my glass. Hey, brother, I see you, brother. Head nodding all day.
Exactly, man.
That's funny. I mean, I can go into my experience. My experience with craft beer is and this is 302 Yoda in case nobody knows.
Thank you, because Luke can tell me his name. But I got
I thought you could read. It says Lou Belgium. I'm Lou Belgium.
My phone. Again, I'm on the phone, man.
You good? It's no problem. I'm Lou Belgium. I'm on Instagram.
I can get my glass bag. Can I get my glasses?
Yo, like that, like
every time I say it.
When he say his name, he got to say it on Instagrams.
That's right.
but so Rob's my brother, and like I just basically just started. I was kind of into. I'm not even gonna say into drinking beer, but I would drink beer like when I went out to the clubs every once in a while. I would just grab like your regular Heineken or a Corona. That was the go-to all the time. And so that was pretty much where I started at. And then fooling with Rob pulls up with the Blue Moon. And so the Blue Moon, I would drink it every once in a while just because he had it. He's like, I need somebody to help me drink this. Because I've never seen nobody go out, right? And he the only one that drink beer, and he'll buy one of them towers. You know what I'm talking about? The joint they put on the table.
Like TGI Friday.
Yeah, like that type joint. And he'd be like, I need somebody to help me drink this. And so I'd be like, all right, I'll just go ahead and drink it. And then I went to
did you like Blue Moon, or you was just drinking?
Yeah, Blue Moon was pretty good. Okay. But since because like even now I'll drink anything pretty much. I'll drink anything. So the Blue Moon was kind of like, it was different from a Heineken and from a Corona. So it was this is different. But then after going to a beer fest, I went to one of the.
There we go.
I remember which one, but I would just try everything because I was just one of them people that would just try whatever just to see what they all taste like. And once I did that, I realized
that's cool. I go there to get drunk.
Yeah, it wasn't even that I got drunk because I didn't have a specific beer. So it wasn't like I was looking for an IPA or I was looking for
tasting everything.
Everything till I find something that like makes me go, wow. so after doing all that, like that's when I got into actually liking the craft beer, was going to the beer fest and tasting how different the beers could be. And that's kind of what turned me on. And then after Rob was talking about this podcast, I'm like, hey, well, let's do the podcast. And then we tried some different beers on the first episode, had some nasty shit. The second, or was that the first? The second episode had some nasty shit. So I'm like, yeah. So this is it. Like we all in. You know what the nasty shit was, that victory.
Man, it wasn't victory. It was Sour Monkey. Stop blaming the brewery. It was just that beer.
But it just wasn't right. Because it was so interesting. That was it's still a good. It was a good thing to experience, but I just wouldn't drink that sour.
Not at all subtle on the stomach.
Yeah, but the crazy part is that I like sours now, but I still think that's like too much of a sour.
Yeah. That was like drinking pickle juice and piss.
Man, I had a sour one time I had a sour one time that was just it hit me so hard, and it almost was like vinegar, and then it was like vinegar, like if somebody took lemon and just let it soak in vinegar. That's how that sour hit me.
Sour Monkey.
And that was my my first experience with a sour. And I follow the craft beer connoisseur, so I'm always watching her, always just upping sours and gozes. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try one of these joints. Man, I put that down so quick. And it was just the 4 ounce. It was a flight. And I shouldn't have did a flight, because I did a flight of sours, and that was like the first one.
Yeah,
that was the first one, and I just was like, it was just downhill from there.
Yeah.
Like, I should have started from the not so strong sour and worked my way up. Maybe had a.
But see, that's the thing. That's what you gotta do, Beer Talk. You gotta try everything. Like you gotta be willing to taste every single thing. Because if I would have tasted the Sour Monkey first, I would never drink. Like you would never drink a sour again.
Right.
I mean, some people really like it, but most people don't. It's an acquired taste, and you gotta just try it. You gotta keep trying. You know what I mean? Like anything they put in front of you, take an ounce.
At least gotta sample it, man.
You gotta sample it. You can't say, I don't drink. You can't say I don't drink Pilsners. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Man.
What are you talking about?
I started off again as a kid with Coors, man. My mom was getting married in the backyard in West Oakland. And I just grabbed that Coors, man. I took a sip and I put it down as a kid. I was like, this is not for me.
Right.
But it always lingered with
as
me
a kid.
as far as exactly. I was like 7 or 8, and I was just like, because I just saw him always drinking.
You shouldn't like it.
It shouldn't be for you. It definitely wasn't.
My uncle who was getting married, he don't like beer even now. Like he tell me all the time, man, I want that piss water, man. Hand me the tequila, the Hennessy, the cognac, vodka, or something like that. But my other uncle who just constantly him and my cousins. My cousin Jeff used to drink 40, so he got the Coke 4-5, the Mickey's
Ice.
Yeah, and it was another one, and I always like the Coke 4-5. My cousin Jeff was always okay, but once he got to the Mickey's or something else, he just became a different type of person. And I was like, I was like, you're a little angry. I'm not gonna drink 40s for some reason, So I just knew where and where not to be. But But the sours now, it's so many different sours. They got a place out here in the Bay called the Rare Barrel. That's in Berkeley, California, not too far from San Francisco, just over the bridge. And man, they make a whole bunch of sours. And I actually I do got a Hello Coastal one like that. And I asked my co-host / other co-host to get that for me when she gets a chance. But that's it's called Breathing Conversations. The Rare Barrel started out with a brewery in New York, and I forgot that brewery's name. But that one, that's like a 6.3. But they do a lot of things with sours, man. They really focus on the fermentation. So man, when COVID's over, I'd love for y'all to come out here, man, and just have like a day where we just actually more than a day, but we can do like
just take us on a beer tour.
Exactly, man. We can do we can start off with the sour day, and then we can hit the porters and stouts and just keep finding
them all.
It'd be great, man.
Yeah, that sounds like a party. Yeah, that sounds like a party.
Man, good time. We got the last person to go.
Last but not least. So Devin Aaron the Great, I go by on Instagram. How I got into craft before even craft, I always was a beer drinker. Drinking beer probably as early as like the 90s when I wasn't even 21 yet, you know. I spent a short stint of my time, you know, actually in Cali, in Oakland, where you died. But back then it was 40s. It was 40s. It was like Mickey's Ice. It was OEs, sticking lemons in the joints, you know, along with, you know, those other kind of cigarettes.
Hold on.
Left hand cigarette.
Sticking lemons in a 40.
Yep.
They used to put lemons in a 40.
Yep.
Was it a specific 40 or all the 40s?
I mean, Mickey's Ice is what I drank a lot of. So
you was putting lemons in that.
or OE.
How many lemons per 40?
Just like one
lemon. A whole lemon.
Yeah, one lemon in there, cut it up as small as you could, because you know the 40, the 40 lip is small.
Right.
You had to cut them up.
But you put a whole lemon's worth in
in a 40. Yep. So that's how we used to drink them.
I never knew that.
I never heard that.
That was before even used to go order them at the bar, and they would put, you know, a little lemon like on the top of your Corona bottle or whatever.
Right. You was crafting up 40s back in the 90s.
That's how we used to drink
big sours.
Right. I didn't know nothing about a craft anything. It was just like, this was a household
name. How I like it. This is how I like it.
Out in Oakland, you know, Mickey's Ice was huge. You know, it was one of the biggest beers to drink. I drank that, and then fast forwarding to migrating back to the East Coast, where I'm from, I just was got into like drinking Yinglings or Coronas or Heinekens. Those were the ones that I would always choose, because those were the names I knew and the taste that I was familiar with. And I never really kind of deviated past that. But after that, I would say Yingling again was huge, but it was like friends of mine that would be at like work with me. We'd go to like Wegmans or something like that. And they'd be like, oh man, Wegmans is a grocery store in Pennsylvania that's like right across the line from where Delaware is. And they'd be asking me to get like porters and these stouts and things like that. I'm like, man, I'm not really into all of that. I just know about the names I know. So I never really even tried anything other than the names I knew. Then about 2014, I think, Rob, you brewed your own batch around that time, I think.
I forgot about that. That was
what was that? What was that he brewed? Did anybody remember?
Do you remember which type of beer? Was it a lager or a pilsner or ale?
Yeah, I think it was I think it was some type of ale. I don't remember exactly what it was.
The plastic bottle.
Like Mr. Beer Cup kit.
Yeah, beer cup. The plastic bottle he gave me was probably literally like this tall. It was like it was just like shy. 40. It was just shy of a 40.
Yeah.
Had the cap on that thing, and I couldn't drink it in one sitting because it was so much of it. But the thing about it is the carbonation didn't like immediately go away the moment after I closed it up and put it in the fridge and drank some later. So I drank that. I'm like, oh, Rob, that was good shit. I enjoyed it. And then 2015 was really like the opener, opened my eyes to the craft brew world. As even Yoda mentioned, we're all interrelated. Rob and I are married to two sisters. They got us some beer fest tickets to Wilmington, like a riverfront beer fest that had almost 85 taps. We spent the day there, he and I, drinking. They were our designated drivers that came back and got us. And I literally was like, man, we gonna be here for like 4 hours just drinking and trying everything. And I enjoyed it, man. Like I tried. Then at that point, Rob introduced me to like stuff that was like, okay, try this stout. He was a stout drinker. I was like already liking Heineken type flavors or bitterness or whatever. So I gravitated to like IPAs and things like that. And from there, like kind of it just opened the floodgates up to like, when can I go to a fresh fest like this? And then we tried our best from there, 2015, to kind of just make it a tradition to find one, go to one that was locally or close by, and then the podcast came, and he said, I want y'all to come on, and out of that came not just us being kind of guests and members. We took it a step further and was like, well, we should, make something unique about the podcast by giving the beers their own ratings of kind of in our language, because we don't specifically, we're not like technical beer like makers or whatever
and all that stuff.
We didn't know any of that back then. You see a couple people tipping their glasses and clipping their hats. They have now they are becoming like Michelle Obama. Like they're there. They've arrived. They have become.
Now is this past the intro? The intro, like the server level. You're beyond that now. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I passed the certified beer server. So now I'm thinking about this. I don't know if I'm gonna do it.
So, we thought about just kind of like a rating that would be specific to if we went to a barbecue or we went to somebody's, house or whatever, and they had a certain beer, like how could we rate or talk about these beers? So that's how we came up on the show with Pass Me Another is kind of our top rating as a beer that we would continue to drink at a barbecue. How Have Just One is, very mediocre. And keep it in the cooler if that shit ain't for me,
And one sip,
right? One sip, that's it. You won't get any more of that. And we stuck with that, and that's been kind, the ongoing, rating that we've kept that made us stick with it.
Now, when it comes to that beer fest type of experience, because we talked about that earlier about just being a few spots of color in a sea of white. Let's just be honest with it. How do y'all navigate that? Because and just to give some backstory on that is, I know most of the times when I walk into any type of brewery, my first inclination is like, I'm gonna be the only black person in here, and I'm likely surprised that I may get one or two black folks that may just kind of come on in while I'm doing a bunch of flights and things like that. So that's great. But how do you like set your mindset like that, or is it even a mindset that you do set up when you walk into these spaces that are going to be mostly white? Do you feel a certain way? Do you prepare yourself for certain questions? Like, how do you go about that?
It's a good question.
I know for me, like breweries, breweries are a little different because they're enclosed, and so like every eye is on you. So it's kind of funny, but I thought most of the time, well, now I'm kind of used to going there as being only person of color. But before I was like, which is why I used to drag some of them along with me.
Strength in numbers, man. You got it.
Right.
Oh, I thought you just wanted to hang out.
Protection.
I thought it was some brother. I thought just like my brother. I'm gonna bring him. Oh wow, you're a user.
Like we'll get lynched together. Won't be just the one.
But we're in Delaware, so we I don't know if we're there.
Oh yeah. This is figure of speech that's maybe too far, but it works.
Right.
You know what I meant.
Hey man,
but
it could be the truth though.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, y'all gotta keep your head on the swivel. At Beer Fest, it's a little different because a lot of people are already intoxicated, so it's like it doesn't matter. Like, because I know like white women love to talk when they drunk.
Yes.
So they will always be like, hey, how you doing? So
yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different experience at a beer fest than a like an actual brewery or in a tap room. So it's kind of different. So I just kind of go with the flow. I'm pretty easy going to begin with. But at the end of the day, I'm there for the beer. If I don't really like the environment, I'll get the beer and head out. So
right.
That's how
yeah, that's actually, like I was saying at the beginning, that's a really good question. I think when we go to Beer Fest, one thing that was unique that just kind of speaks to, us as creatives, when we would go to these Beer Fests, I even think the first one we went to, Rob's wife is very creative. She made us t-shirts. She made us Drinking USA t-shirts. So you had the Olympic rings on it, but the actual, instead of rings, they were actually beer caps. Not caps, but the tab. So she made that as a shirt and made it like an Olympic, drinking team. So he and I would walk around with the t-shirts, and blacks, we more flamboyant. We stand out, one, because we only a few in the beer fest, but then on top of that, we've got these unique T-shirts. They see two black guys walking around. They want to know who we are. They're like, oh my God, y'all T-shirts. Who made them? Like, who are y'all? They wanted to interact. I'm like social with everybody. So maybe sometimes as a gift and a curse. I'm super approachable. I'm like super social to the point where, again, I like talking to interested people, learning anything about, their background, where they come from. So I think by me having that kind of personality, but also kind of just the attire that we would wear to it, just attracted people. And then by the next year, we added the T-shirts. Then we added the pretzel ring necklaces. Just and we weren't doing it to be noticed, but it was almost like just to be prepared, because you're already drinking a lot. We wanted, the foods that you kind of need at your disposal and quick to get to be like, okay, I'm drinking, I'm hungry. What can I snack on while I'm drinking all these beers and tasting? So I think that kind of made us feel even welcome into these spaces where we weren't, we were outnumbered.
Yeah, and me personally, I don't even care. I mean, I'm not the one uncomfortable. If somebody's uncomfortable, it's them.
No, I feel the same way. It's just, I know that conversation that came up one time with Hella Coastal and a bunch of other people we were talking about, and I just said the same thing. Like, my mission or my vision for Beer Talk Now is to be the Anthony Bourdain of beer, and I keep telling myself that every day. So I was like, I'm gonna be in spaces, if I'm talking about international travel and going into different countries where beer is popular, but we don't know about it in the States, because as of everything else, like, if it ain't white, it ain't right. In most cases. But like, I had a chance to interview the flavorologist from Aseptic Fruit Purees out there in Georgia, close to Atlanta, but it's not Atlanta. It's like 30-40 minutes out from there. And he was telling me, I mean, he's from Colombia, and he was like, man, we got 3 facilities. We got one in Colombia, one in Brazil, one in Mexico. And he was like, Mexico sours are going crazy. He was like, it's like breweries popping up just like they did in the States. He's like, breweries are popping up in Mexico just like that. And you would never think that, because again, the stereotypical thought process of craft beer is white man with a fedora and a beard. So for me, I was like, if I want to do that and having these conversations and talking and wanting to show black people that we love beer. Yeah, I know, you can come right over here, baby girl. we love beer, and we want to showcase ourselves in just all different aspects. And I want to be able to feel comfortable, to your point, and into my own skin, and just be like, man, it don't matter. I'm going up in there and I'm going to drink a beer. Like, if you're uncomfortable, that's cool. But most of the time, it's not that they're uncomfortable. It's almost like we're confused. It's like we're to them, and when I say them, I'm talking about white folks. But the white folks is kind of like, it's this dual like uncomfortability for them, and they don't know how to place it, and so then they put it on us, and you kind of, and if you're self-conscious about it, then it becomes a problem. But if you're just talking and you start talking beer, then it's almost like they relax, and it's like, it's funny to me though. That's why I wanted to bring up that question. It can get real weird for some people, especially the people that's been drinking a little too much, and most of the time it's like that middle-aged white dude or the 25 to 30-year-old white girl. But most of the time it's just good time. So
their demeanor is different anyway, whether they're drinking or not. But when they're drinking, it's super like, you just kind of sit back and you got to watch it, because, I've been to parties. I've even been where they so intoxicated. They, the women, they get to kissing. They just go crazy. It's like
college days.
That ain't the kind of parties that I'm used to being at. But them in the liquid is fuel for a whole other kind of party.
I don't think I've ever gotten an uncomfortable question at any other places that I've visited so far, but I haven't been to many deep South breweries. Yeah,
but they don't even got to be deep South. I mean, like here in the Bay, and you've been in Oakland before. It's like everybody think California is like this one big happy kumbaya place, and it's like, nah, man. I went to go pick up, like, I just recently got a shotgun, and I went to go to Locky Ford, California. So that's like in between. If I'm coming from the Bay and I'm going to Sacramento, LA area, it's between that. And like, man, you walk into there, and it's Confederate flags. It's Trump with the Superman joint doing this, you know, with the big T on it. And it's like, I mean, but they cool as hell because A, they got your information, and B, they selling you something. But it's just, it don't have to be like in the South. Like I told people I want to go like to the heart of like Alabama and Mississippi, and they looking at me like, man, that's like to Luke point, man, you trying to get lynched. I was like, but man, like at the end of the day, you never know what you're gonna find, and if we continually be afraid of it, especially like I said, I want to make myself like not that dude, but just the person to be like, all right, Daryl went to this place, and I'm like, what is that place? And like that's what I want to do, expose you. There's Black people everywhere, no matter where you go on the planet. We are not a minority, man. And I think as I learn that more and more and talk to more people, especially like the guy Caesar from Aseptic Fruit Purees, and he was just like, man, Brazil, Colombia, man. He was like, you'd be surprised of the skin tones that you'll see, but we don't get that picture, man. So that's a good thing. See, I like sitting here talking to four Black men about this, you know, because I usually I don't hold my tongue about it or anything, but I just want to get y'all perspectives, because even though again we all Black men, we all have different
see it different
experiences and different perspectives of how we see things. So I think that's great. Now when it comes to, and this is where I'm at in my stage of the podcast, is like monetary aspects, or actually creating a monetary value from your podcast. Where are you guys at with that? Are y'all LLC, like the Black Beard Chick? She has Black Beard Chick LLC, or Afro Beard Chick LLC. Or are you guys just doing this as your hobby? Like where are you taking the podcast or the show? Like Dame Dash said, he said, don't call it a podcast, call it a show.
The show.
We definitely are on the LLC movement. I think we're just waiting for a kind of paperwork to come through to make sure that's official. We really are moving into more of we got some plans to do outside of just the podcast, but other things outside of the podcast in the community. So we've been working on that. So we definitely have been making it be bigger than just the podcast, and push forward a lot of different things on our agenda. So we definitely are more of a business, and just seeing how big we can get it, and how because we get a lot of positive feedback. So we always want to continue to keep that momentum going forward, and making sure that we don't lose things.
Yeah.
We also have a website with merchandise on it.
Right.
That makes a couple dollars.
Hey man, I mean, exactly. The merchandise.
He asked he want to know all the ways.
That's right. That's right.
I want to talk about the merch game. I mean, I got my shirt, but this shirt is like old. I just got a logo.
It ain't this though. It ain't this.
But for when it comes to merch, like, do y'all spend a lot of time like checking out the different materials, the different shirts, the different hoodies, like? Or is it just kind of like, all right, this feel cool, like we're gonna put this on here, like you screen printing, you heat pressing, and then you just hitting the streets, or like what's the thought process on the merch?
Well, nobody's hitting the streets.
No.
The internet streets.
When I did at first, I did do a couple of tests, especially on the quality of t-shirts, because sometimes they can be real cheap. So I did always want to have a quality t-shirt that is on, like that was not too heavy, but also felt like it was worth something that would shrivel up. So we did do a little bit of that.
Third count and shrivel up means a lot.
So we did a little bit of that, but we don't go. I don't we go super heavy, like, because it's just like the side piece. We're not like trying to design. It's not like a fashion designer. It's like, I mean, we ain't making. It's just more about like if people wanted to support the podcast and they want to tell more and they want to show it where they go. Like we got like people who are real big. Our podcast evangelists that really go out there, so that gives them. And it gives us our own ability to go out there, even if we're not talking about the podcast. People will come up and say, "Yo, what's this Brewsing Banter? What is that about?" So it's also marketing as well. So it's more about. I mean, quality is important, but it's not the main initiative, I guess, to say. Yeah. On the
because one thing I noticed now is because of the times that we're in, like I can have on my Brewsing Banter hoodie or t-shirt, but I have my mask on, and that's the first thing that people notice is the mask, and they'll be like, "Oh, you got a podcast? Is that a podcast?" Yes, is that what it say? But like it is definitely good marketing. I can say that. because that's really the benefits of it. Even when somebody else buys it, it ain't really about making money off of it. It's about them putting that shirt on and marketing, basically being a walking billboard for us.
Yeah.
But if you want to buy 1,000 of them, go right ahead.
Right. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I was like, my mom was like, you gotta do the Master P plan. You gotta just give out these shirts for free and had the crackheads, the homeless, everybody
wearing them. Everybody wearing them.
I was like, I just got to get it at a price where it makes sense. You know, Master P was printing his own white T-shirts. It probably cost him like 50 cents just to get them shirts.
Exactly.
You know, and he hitting the hot press and he just throwing them to everybody.
Right.
Yeah, back when Master P was doing that shit, it was a little easier. It was like to get away with it. Now everybody be like, "Oh, this cheap ass shirt." Like, nah.
And again, that's why I gave it to the crackheads, the homeless people, all this stuff like that. You know, and shout out to all of them who wore the.
These crackheads fancy too right now. Don't even try it. That crackhead be like, "Whoa,
$1,
funny,
only $1."
We do have a vendor that does our merchandise, but my wife also does like merchandise. She does heat press and transfers, like, so that keeps me with different colors and varieties, like special one-off pieces.
Yeah.
Like his Cameron special.
Nobody
got the Cameron special.
Yeah, Rob the only one.
No, you can get that now on the website.
It is available on the website now.
I told myself, I was like, 2021, I'm about to buy everybody merch. Like, yep, I want y'all to know I'm wearing your shirts and your hoodies and all that stuff. So when I drop mine, just show some love back. And I ain't trying to make you give me some love. I'm just like, hey man, I'm just showing y'all I appreciate y'all and I know where it goes, man. Especially when you want to make it a business. So that's what's up, man. I like I said, you guys had that connection, that vibe. And when I saw, like I said, watching some of your shows, I was like, yeah, man, this is like a family. And I think that kind of transitions into the question I want to ask about like collaborations. Like when you do episodes with people either that you sought after or who you were like, man, we really need to get this person on the show. How has it been as far as like reaching out with them and on maybe on a business front as far as like collaboration? And collaboration meaning like they come on your show, you go on theirs, or they have an event, especially when before COVID, of course, they have an event and they invite you, or y'all talk about doing that. How has that been? Has that gained any traction? Has that happened at all?
We've been on a guest of a few podcasts, and people, and especially when people come on, it's really been easy. But we also have people that are really that love podcasts and they throw events and all that stuff. So I shout out to Dennis, who really always brings us to all his events. He makes sure that we're there. Before COVID, we were supposed to be the official podcast at one of his events, but COVID shut all that down. So we've had like in the community, we definitely have seen people reach out to us, want us to participate. We just talked about another thing we might be doing shortly. And so people, and then even when we talk about on different podcasts, and we have been on other people's podcasts that have been on ours. We got one tomorrow, right, Blue?
Saturday.
No, Saturday.
Yeah. Saturday joints, man. I can't do that, man. Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Overtime on Saturday, Sunday. And
Saturday, Sunday. That's the prime time. That's prime time for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Saturdays with Afro Beer Chick. Right?
Yeah. And also it's like it's within the beer community, it's so easy to reach out to people, have them come on or like you said, be a guest on somebody else's, and then you just establish a relationship. Like all four of us probably have different relationships with different guests that have appeared on our podcast. And it's just like you just keep building on those relationships. And when you need somebody, you can send them a DM or send them a text message. And most of the time the people come through for you. You know what I mean? So I think that's a big part of why we get the guests and why they come through. And COVID has helped us out because we can get guests and be on people's podcasts like yours, where it wasn't even an idea to have a California guy not come to Delaware. Like you got when you come to Baltimore or Philly, we'll meet you. That's how we would have thought. And I was like, no, man, I could just dial you up and you're there.
I gotta say, Dewey Brewing Company out there in Delaware, man.
Yeah.
I think she was an assistant brewer or something like that. She actually hit up, I think his name is Brian. If I get his name wrong, my bad, Brian. But one of the co-founders, and he hit me up, was like, "Hey man, one of my team members was watching your show or episode, and she really liked what was going on. Love to be on the show." And I was like, "Man, that kind of was like
that's awesome.
affirmation for me. Like, all right, man, keep doing this because
it's reaching. You never know who's watching. You never know who's
social
listening.
media be lying to you sometimes, man. I mean, yeah, you get 1,000 followers, you got 20 million followers, but I remember this dude who out here who's selling who make his own shoes. He's from Brooklyn, but he was in the armed forces and he stationed here in Oakland. But he said that he's like, man, you can have 20 million followers, but if you put some merch out, just a T-shirt, just support what it is you're doing, and nobody buy it, man. That's how social media lie to you. You can be hot on social media all day, but it's really building that culture and that community. And I think that's what y'all doing. And what I continually hope that I'm doing as well by interviewing so many people like yourselves, and then also just different aspects of craft beer. And that's one of the things, again, back to this transition into my questions, as far as like when y'all look at craft beer as a whole, do y'all look at going and interviewing like the hop farmer or the person who produces the yeast, or maybe even the city or state municipality that does with water? Because again, beer, a lot of beer is mostly water. Like, have y'all had those episodes, or are you working towards those episodes? And what do you think about that whole circle or circle of life of craft beer?
Yeah, we do.
Go ahead,
Rob. I'll go.
No,
we do. I'll give an example. We had I forget the name of the guy, but I forget his name. But the granola guy, where he uses spent grain, and he produces granola bars with the grain, and that was eye opening for me, because before we even got him on, I had no idea that was spent grain was even a thing that we was using. And then to find out how many different ways that you can use the spent grain and how it's not being used, it's just being thrown away, and just helping him. And I still speak with him, and whatever we can do to help him, we try, and you know what I mean. So
shout out to All Good Granola.
Yeah, that was
that's
awesome.
what it was, right? I think I'm following him on Instagram as well.
Yeah, he's a really good dude out of Virginia. What's that? Virginia Beach, Virginia. But that's one of the examples of how the actual industry, and we've had a couple of people, Art and L specifically, who've come on. He's an artist who does artwork for cans. And me in particular, I think a lot of the guys on the podcast, I love the artwork. Like, I'll drink almost anything if the artwork, like that Skeletor, I don't care what style it is. I want that. I want that just to get the can. Like I want that can on my wall. You know what I mean?
Told him I'm gonna talk to the podcaster for Hen House, man, because he said he give me a poster. I'm like, man, give me a couple, man. Y'all, we can we'll DM, get the address and everything. I'll tell him, give me like 2 or 3 of them joints, man.
My address will be sent to you before this episode's over.
I appreciate it, man.
That's how I do.
He ain't lying.
No, it's coming. It's coming.
You got it right there.
As soon as I stop talking, I'm gonna be there within the minute.
I'm gonna hit him up tonight. Like, hey man, you said you was gonna give me some glassware.
You might as well just do it while we on. You might as well just do it while we on. He already
put your notifications on ring. You'll hear.
But to go even further into your question, we have actually. I think Dev had talked about, like, I mean, we don't have a lot of hop farming around here. Because before COVID, we were looking for one to go and interview at the hop farm. But we also talked to somebody we were talking to somebody that did not chemicals, but some of the we met him at.
We met him at Union Craft. We met him at Union Craft. He does more with
Union Craft, man.
Union Craft. We were there. We met him. He was like more. I don't know exactly what he did. Did he deal with more, like, he didn't deal with automation, did he? He deal with like maybe like the equipment, I think, maybe possibly something like that. But I feel like it was but then like Rob was talking about from the agriculture side, like I have a former colleague who actually has she worked in agriculture. Her PhD is in agriculture, so she grows her own like fruits and vegetables. That she moved from Atlanta back up to Delaware now, but she grows her own vegetables and fruits, and they're actually in at the All Foods, like a natural place. And she posted something that gave me the idea. She posted actually a picture of, she was like at a hop farm, and I'm like, yo, we gotta see if we've got to get with one local, and I have that, have that relationship. So we just need to, because we're in Delaware, I'm sure there's no hop farms around here. We just need to kind of find out where we can, obviously post-COVID, take that drive.
Why are we so sure there's no hot farms around here?
I think we looked.
I'm saying, is it the soil, or is it the soil that's not good?
Oh, that's what you mean.
It could be. It could be its temperature. I'm sure it's probably a whole bunch of things.
I think when I was talking with Dewey Brewing Company, that was one of the things that they mentioned. So a lot of people,
everything is shipped, brought into them
from the West Coast. Yakima and Oregon.
Y'all got that good soil and climate out there.
Yeah, man. Cali got some beautiful weather, man.
Yeah.
Just like that other green. Just like that other green.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Humble California is where it all started, man. Shout out all the farmers, all the mom and pop weed growers or cannabis growers who pretty much got bought out or pretty much got the local, the state government just ransacked them so they can get these bigger corporations ready when they make this legal with Biden and Harris. But yeah, man, it's some good soil out here, man. That's why them colonizers move west, man. Tell these Native Americans get down and lay down. That's what
right.
Yeah. And they didn't know how to grow nothing. They brought us over here to grow because we intelligent.
Right.
And since you're the trying to be the Anthony Bourdain of beer, we'll about hop farms and eat raw hops. Like, I don't want to eat raw hops.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
I mean, I'll try it. I'm not gonna go like ham on it, but I'll try a little piece.
You just gotta so I went to Hollister, California was kind of farther out from the bay. I did I was at the hop yard and I cracked open the hop, and he showed me. He was like, that yellow stuff or that oily substance, that's where you get the aroma from and everything like that, like the pollen of the hop. And so pretty much you just do like Selector, aka Skeletor, is doing right here in the can. You just take a good whiff of it. Yeah, that's all. You ain't gotta taste it, man. You just take a nice big whiff and you good to go.
I was just joking.
But man,
is that something that we doing though? That's what we doing in the industry. We eating hops?
Nah,
I doubt it.
Okay. It was a whole joke. Okay.
Yeah,
that deep in hell that Skeletor is doing is the norm.
Yeah, he's just inhaling the hops, right?
Right.
Shout out to all the dank hops that try to get like the cannabis, aka weed, just like 9.5, 10%. That's it's crazy. I never liked IPAs. I had a dank that was 9.5, went from 9.5 to the hazies. From the hazies, now I'm drinking several different type of IPAs. Wow. And really loving on the West Coast how they're getting more of the flavor because man, like Russian River out here in Santa Rosa as well. They did the Pliny, so I never even had one. So I'm being disrespectful to the Bay or California in general by not having the Godfather IPAs. But I was just like, I did not like that bitter taste because I came from porters and stouts, and I was like, so I learned that hops when you put them in at a certain time in the brew, you produce more alpha acids. Right. And I'm learning this stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's why it's sitting on your tongue. But out here in the West Coast, man, they like triple times 4. They want to burn your damn esophagus with this hop flavor with the alpha acid. I'm like, nah, man, like back up. And then after last year I went to 2019. I went to a double and triple IPA fest in Hayward, California. B Street Bistro. Shout them out, man. Local businesses, got to keep them alive. But I was drinking all types of hops, man. I was like, this is wild. This is wild. Nice IPA, man. Now I like IPA. It's crazy.
Like 28. Was it 2008, 2009? Craft beer, they almost lose me because West Coast IPAs is ridiculous back then. Yeah. I was like, yo, these hop bombs, like, we're going to give you all hop.
Yeah.
Now on the East, when it comes
say something for somebody else.
When it comes on the East Coast, because I got a chance to have an episode. Shout out to Lady Logger, our Rhythm and Brewing company out there in Connecticut. She's the one that actually reached out to me and was like, hey, you want to get on this IG live? And I didn't even like IG. Like, I don't even like social media like that, period. But her and I had such a great conversation. But she was focused on loggers, and now she's diversifying herself to different types of beer, different styles, because she's collaborating a lot. But when it comes to the East Coast, at least for y'all and where y'all at in y'all region, what seems to be like the most popular thing? And if it's sours, what type of sours, gozas or fruited sours or regular, and if it's anything else, by all means, let me know.
I think IPAs for sure.
Yeah, I think
it has to be.
IPAs are huge, and they're my favorite. They're absolutely my favorite. I think for me, it was just kind of like marrying the household name of like Heineken. It was easy for me to transition to an IPA because the palate, the taste, that kind of bitterness or that taste that lingers on your tongue was very, very similar. So it was like, oh, awesome. And then as I tasted the doubles and triples and the hazies, I'm like, oh, now they packing it with not just, the hoppiness. Now they add in, some more of that citrus. They bringing out those kinds of notes and all those kinds of things. Now they putting lactose in them. I'm like, I'm in heaven.
Right. And I think like the brewery right down the street from me, I think they might have like 4 or 5 IPA or pale ale on tap. So it's like between those two, it's like the IPA, the pale ale, right, definitely are probably the top choices. Because that is what I see a lot of when I go to breweries around here. It's like so my thing is I always seek out anything but a pale ale or IPA because after a while I'm like, I want to try something different. So I do look out for the pilsners, the Kolsch's, and then anything but IPA.
Right. When I go to a brewery, I want to taste something that I've never had before. If they got it, I want something that's specific to them.
Yeah,
look at that pour right there.
I'm never going into a brewery looking for an IPA.
You ain't never gonna catch me looking for no IPA.
not looking.
Unless I'm getting it for Devin. You ain't never gonna find me anywhere looking for IPA. Nah,
I appreciate that.
I might look for an IPA.
I ain't gonna look for it, but I'll drink it if somebody suggests one.
That's it.
Like that's it. But I'm not gonna go in there looking. Hey, what's
I'm not gonna spend I'm not willingly spending my hard-earned money.
Yo, I've been trying to change their mind for 2 damn years.
Man, you gonna
how many IPAs you done gave me?
What I'm gonna do, y'all, man.
Probably two been good.
Yeah,
I probably like two.
What y'all need y'all to do? Y'all give me like a central address I can send to y'all. I'm gonna get you IPA from Strike Brewery out here in San Jose, California, called Triple Play. It's a triple, so it's like 10-5. And
give it here.
Yeah, the ABV ain't gonna change my mind.
Let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's more of a malt type characteristic to it than what the hops. So my cousin, he got me on the Belgians because I always thought stouts and porters were the highest ABV. He introduced me to the Belgians. I like the spice to it, but he just did not like IPAs. But that triple play, excuse me, it's not even 10-5, it's 11-5. My bad.
Give it to me.
So 11-5. So y'all, again, in the DM, man, I'm gonna send y'all my phone number, all that stuff like that, because I really want to keep connecting with y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's the type of thing that I love about beers, because for Luke to be like, man, I hate IPAs, whatever, like whoever you bring to me, I ain't gonna like it. I'm telling you, man, it's
nope, I won't. Don't say that.
Okay.
I will try anything, and I have liked a few IPAs, just that the percentage is very low.
Yo, it's so funny though. As I'm talking about how much I don't like IPAs too, I'm sitting here drinking this Mac.
That Mac Brewing, baby. That's a good IPA.
I got a question for you. Are you a high ABV drinker? Do you prefer high ABVs?
My favorite type of beer is barrel aged stouts, hands down.
Okay.
Man,
have you had Mac Brewing?
No, I have not, and
that's Philly.
I see everybody putting that on, so I was like, man, I gotta find some Philly connects. I gotta get them to send me some.
You got one right now.
That boy, he doing some good work, and all his ABVs is over. What's that? The lowest that you just?
That's
showed?
The lowest. Is a 10.
That's 10.
That's the lowest. We had a 19%,
14.5, and a 19%.
Yeah,
that's
that 19 exclusive.
Like if I'm turning the dial, is it like 19? I'm hitting boozy, like it's just nothing but
nope.
You're not even
gonna
know until you're done. You're not gonna know until you
sneak up on you. like a Long Island.
It leans a lot toward like mead. It leans a lot toward like a mead type of take. Because I think there's a lot of honey in there and stuff like that. I'm actually drinking a 11% IPA from a local brewery.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Yeah. So
I gotta hit these. I'm telling you, man.
That particular that's Audemars, isn't it?
Yeah.
That particular brewery, they mixed. We went to the Sour Wednesday that they had a couple weeks back, and they mixed a
sour and a stout.
Oh my goodness,
sour stout.
I never
it's
even
amazing.
Hella Coastal just mentioned that to the Rare Barrel because they did that again. Breathing Conversations collab. That is something I want to taste. Also,
it
I
was
like
so
golden.
good.
I like the golden stouts. I don't know if y'all ever had.
Yeah, we had one.
Crooked
Hammock here in Delaware.
Yeah, man. See,
that was good.
I gotta do it. See, this is what I'm talking about, man.
When I left, the last time I visited Cali was 2015. So what's that? 6 years ago. I was there for my niece, one of my young niece's graduation, high school graduation, and the beer scene hadn't even boomed, like craft beer hadn't even boomed. But I wanted to go into the familiar areas where I used to kick it. Telegraph is a huge place that takes you right down take you down to Jack London and everything. And I went to this craft brew. It was actually called Telegraph. And I went there and I just randomly sat down, obviously outnumbered. I'm the only guy in there. I was waiting for my brother to get off his plane. And I'm like, instead of going out to Pittsburgh, California, where my mom lives at, I'm like, I'm just going to stay in the town because his plane comes into Oakland. And I had some really, really good beers there, man. But now the scene is like crazy. Now you got, they popping up everywhere from Pittsburgh to Concord to, it's crazy. I mean, you probably know from going all of them.
I just met some dudes who just start following me. They from East Palo Alto. They making beer. So I'm going to hit them up. I was DMing them. But I forgot when you follow somebody, if you don't remember their full handle and then you just like leave out the message and you just start following them, it don't show in your
joint.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, Instagram. Like you already
get with it.
Damn data anyway. Make this easy
for me.
Okay?
Make it easy for me. Come on,
right?
Help me out here.
It should show you. It should show you a list of contacts, right? Your followers, blank. So you can scroll and find that joint.
Man, real quick story. I dropped my phone in the shower because I was listening to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Shout out to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hey.
I dropped my damn phone in the shower. I had to go get a new phone. The amount of work that I had to do to get a new phone, and how they was like, you got to pay this $1 a month to get this 50 gigabytes. I'm like, wait a minute, but the phone got 128 gigabytes on it. You should save every damn thing to the phone first. And then go to the cloud, and then probably pay if I go beyond that. But that ain't how the damn thing works. Tandem. But to my point is that you got to make it simple. Okay, you save my contacts. Come on, Instagram. You got Facebook. You know what you're doing. Come on, Zuckerberg. Stop playing. They just trying to make you buy more shit. That's what it is. They put you on this free app. They take all your data, and then they be like, "Man, you want this extra?"
You gotta buy the add-ons and ads. When every time you get an app, it say this app may have add-on purchases. You already know.
Plans, man. Plans.
Yep.
I didn't even get to finish. At least I got to the Selector, so that's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, I drunk everything except the.
What's that? Did you mention the ABV on the Selector?
No, the Selector. That's just it's a pale ale. So let me find where this damn ABV is. Sometimes they be
it's hidden. Yeah, they sometimes put it.
I be hating when they do that, man. Just tell me what the damn ABV
is. We guess. We try to guess and hope we right, and then we tag them. Man, and they be like, "Oh, you were good. You were right on. How do you know that?" Guess.
Don't worry about it. It's a 5.
To find this joint because it is.
It's all gravy. It's not on there.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. It's a 6%.
It's probably somewhere.
I like 5.9. 5.9.
Yeah, it's probably like
5.9 to 6.3. Something like that.
It's somewhere in there. They didn't put it on there, man. And that's sometimes I'll be telling them about that when I be having like some of the conversations. I'm like, man, just put the damn ABV.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why anywhere? It's just put it down.
And the funny thing is,
put the IBUs on there too if you got it.
When they watch this, they're gonna be like, Daryl was at the top. I'm gonna be like,
probably.
But so anyway, somewhere in the 6.
Well,
but yeah.
To give a nod to Black History Month, I went and grabbed a Brooklyn brewery. Just a
shout
simple.
out to Mr. Oliver, man. I gotta meet that man, bro. I put his book on my to buy list.
He a hard man to catch. I can tell you that. We know from firsthand experience.
I did get a picture with him at Fresh Fest, so
he was real sociable at Fresh Fest.
If you can break his assistant, then you I mean not break, but if you could get through his assistant and get the assistant to lock you in, you good as gold.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just went with a simple lager. This is a hoppy amber lager. It's I think it's like 5%.
Yeah, this I got a confirmation. 5.2. This was only 5.4, but it tastes like
5.4. I said it was 5.4.
5.4. There it is. Yep.
Man, I think all four of us guess we're bound to get it right.
I think you
I'm pretty much right all the time.
You spot on. You was spot on when we had who was it? Wilmington Brew Works on, and then we ran into Keith. I ran into Keith at the 87ers Blue Coats basketball game, and he saw me. He was like, "Yo, one of y'all guessed spot on with the ABV was," and we didn't have it on the can. I was like, "Yeah, that was Yoda."
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm an ABV.
ABV connoisseur.
Yeah, they were so impressed. Yeah, they were. The Brewers were so impressed.
This happens to be a 4.2.
Exactly. We got any drink just like that with the pinky up, though. You know what I mean?
Now you gotta drink with all his fingers out. Drink with all your fingers out. That's how you get it. That's the secret. That's the secret. That's a 10.
And I really appreciate y'all, hitting me back and having this conversation with me, man. I know there's probably a ton of questions in my mind that I would like to get out, but we'll probably be here all day.
It's all gravy.
Well, now you gotta just come on our podcast.
We'll talk more.
What I'm gonna do though, because even my girlfriend was like, we need to get a new laptop, and I knew I needed a laptop for this, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it today because I just had to finesse this damn phone. So y'all gonna have to hold on unless they give it to me for 0% APR.
And for the next 36 months. Yeah,
exactly. If I'm paying these monthlies, and it ain't no problem. But if you're telling me I gotta come out of pocket more than $200, we got a problem.
Right.
We gotta be just doing it on your phone.
Out here, man. Black people trying to survive.
Right.
Save up that change,
Exactly.
Yep. Survive in advance.
You make it work how it work, man. Don't rush.
Yeah, it don't look. I wouldn't have known unless you said something, bro. You look like you look like you on a laptop to me.
Yeah, man.
But shout out
if you're listening.
Yeah.
The corner.
Hit us up, man.
Now, when it comes, and my last question for y'all is, it's 2 questions, so I'll slow it down. But the vision for the show, and then sponsorship and finding someone who will just continually to invest maybe time, not necessarily money, into the show. Like what's those steps? So like your vision for the show and how you want this to go about for y'all, and then also if you are you looking for, or if anybody has came to y'all about like sponsorship or something, because I think that sponsorship is key, especially on these black businesses need to utilize podcasters like ourselves so that we can get this word out, man. So I'm gonna let y'all talk because I keep going.
So, Rob, if you want to talk vision, I could talk maybe sponsorship, but it's up to you.
Well, the vision show is always to it's always been about crafting. I mean, bringing beer and interesting people to conversation. So that's always been our thing. I mean, we've done a lot of pivoting in COVID, so we've had more guests than we normally would have. It was a good opportunity because we've gotten to talk to a lot of people from all over the country, all over the world, pretty much. Shout out to Quest TV in the Netherlands. So it really allowed us to expand. But it allowed us to expand, and I think we will continue just it's always fascinating to continue to grow, introducing some people to craft beer, because I know some people have been on our podcast that doesn't really understand craft beer, haven't really bought into it, but this us giving us more. So it'd be great once COVID is over, and we'll be able to bring back people to the table and let them actually sample it and taste it, especially people who have never tasted craft beer, and let them know that there's always a beer for you. So that's always going to be the vision going forward. Just because it's always been about us four guys talking about hot topics, interesting topics with the backdrop of craft beer. So that's going to continue to move into in our vision going forward.
And then just to kind of tag on to what Rob is saying, just more from like a sponsorship, Rob put together a good press kit for us to, one, be able to, when opportunities present themselves, we can already have information for them to know what our podcast is about. So all of that kind of stuff is solid in terms of what they would want to find. And so I've I've taken some of those. I've taken that press kit and I've like reached out to people who I know also who have podcasts that are using the platform to get sponsorships. So like finding out digital marketing companies that are whose job is nothing to do but just listen to podcasts and decide, hey, this company could market their products or whatever on there. So we're like looking at our numbers, I think, a little bit more strategically in terms of our downloads, where people are listening to us at, so that we can take that and be able to say, okay, just to quantify it and say, hey, we've got this many numbers, we're doing this many streams or downloads. How can we partner and get a sponsorship going? So we're still, I think, more in the early stage. I wouldn't say infancy stage, because as we've talked to people, the podcast that have been on the podcast, they're saying that our style is kind of being duplicated and people are really paying attention to what we're doing. So I think that that's caused us to be a bit more serious about it and be more having kind of somewhat functions of like brand ambassador little pieces, being more creative to say we got to keep this niche going and keep it flowing, because we can't afford to just die off after 110 episodes.
I'm saying, man, and I'm like, I think I'm in just the low 20s, maybe
good,
early
man.
30s, and
just
I'm up here
going.
like, yeah,
it feels good though.
Just keep going.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It don't even matter, man. We started before you. That's all.
Man,
that's all it is.
But I appreciate it because it's that. Because I watch a lot of Earn Your Leisure. Shout out Earn Your Leisure podcast, man. I love watching them, and even though I have not put my money back in the stocks, I need to stop playing with my life. But really, one thing that I really enjoy about them is that anybody that they bring on that's doing something that has their own podcast or whatever the case may be, it's always I see what you're doing, and I constantly want to get to that level. And it's not a negative way of competition. It's more so like making me step my game up and pushing it. And that's why I really wanted to have y'all on the show and really be like, man, I appreciate y'all, what y'all doing. And to be at 100-something episodes, for y'all to talk to Benny and have that conversation, man. And especially Black women being brewers and business people. Like, and I know she went in way more than I could ever do, especially being a woman and talking as a Black woman. But just to see her, like, even my girlfriend had to pull me back because I was drunk at the Fresh Fest, but I was like, yeah, I follow everything, workout and all that. And
he was like, okay, calm on down. Calm on down.
Exactly. She's like, calm on down.
Come on over here right now, boy. We're going back to the hotel right now.
But it was more so admiration in the fact that her and T.O. just constantly pushing, like the thing with the Vans, man, like to me, that blew my mind. I just saw that just today when I was at work. I was like, wait a minute, y'all got a shoe with Vans with the Crown and Hop logo on that joint with the shirt thing. Huge. Like y'all doing the do. I was like, I got to support that. But also it just showed me like there is ways to do it. And I think
it's possible
for Black brewers in particular, they get a lot more slack. Us as Black people, man, we've been taught to hate each other. We've been taught to critique each other more so than we do white folks. But when we see somebody like them, and it's not just them, even Weather Souls, to do that, Black is Beautiful, and to get that going throughout the United States and actually continuing it where people want to do version 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the thing that I want to constantly big up and tell myself, like with y'all, man, y'all had 100-something episodes. I want to get to 100-something episodes. I want to have y'all on that 100-something episode. But not only that, I want to be internationally with it. I want to be sitting in Japan drinking lagers. Or now I found out in Japan they doing IPAs. Shout out Black Beer Travelers for telling me that. They doing IPAs and all different styles. But that's the thing about craft beer. And I think people be like, why you all so focused on craft beer? Man, this culture is universal. It's not just in Europe. You know what I mean? Black people started making beer first. All right, let's just keep it real, just like everything else. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because they like, well, why y'all at the level y'all at now? We can go into that history if you want to. But I won't do that.
They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They're not ready to ask that question
because they don't want to accept it. They want to just constantly tell us like, well, if it was all that great, y'all would be better. But it's like, but when you constantly got somebody on your neck, it's hard to do that and to make room for y'all. Matter of fact, because that Civil Rights Act helped a lot of white women and a lot of people who were disabled and things like that was not Black. But again,
that's the trick.
Let me not go veer off in that way. But I'm gonna keep it 100 because not just Black History Month, but just being realistic.
Right.
Exactly. truth versus what you think is your truth, your story versus history. Okay,
Mhm.
two different things. But
It's two different things.
I just continually want y'all to do great, man. I love that y'all, four brothers sticking together and making this podcast something great. I want y'all to get all the sponsorships. I want to add value to y'all by bringing y'all into the show. Y'all add value to me by the audience members that wouldn't probably even listen to me or just know about me, and they're like, oh yeah, they did a collaboration, and that's what I continue to want to do, because when y'all win, like my mama say, win is a win. So if everybody winning, then it's all good.
Was it the tides rise? The tide rises, all ships rise.
Somebody ain't eating. It's a problem.
Tides rise, the rise, the shop. Ships in the rise, the tides, the rise, the tides.
I know
my
baby girl, like it's time to go. It's time to hang out with me before bath time.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. No problem
at least it's only 6:20, so you got time.
But last thing I wanted to say, I just wanted to piggyback off of Rob and his vision and what you said about Black women. Like, we are 4 Black men on the show, but we all love Black women. So any chance we get, we try to get a Black woman entrepreneur, a Black woman that's in brewing, that's in the craft beer industry. We always try to focus and amplify our voices through our platform. So that's really important and really a focus on it. So I just wanted to make sure that was known. And there's a little Black woman on the show right now. We ending on the right note.
This is my co-host. She was taking she don't play it. She like, look here, you know what time it is. But, like I said,
you've been out all day, Daddy.
Y'all. I love what y'all doing, man. And I just whatever I can do to add value to help y'all is a win for me, because again, when I can visualize somebody winning that look like me, and especially like, again, 4 brothers that's really holding it down, and that's something that I wanted to show appreciation to and to continue to add value, man. So cheers to y'all, man.
Cheers.
Send me this recording, because I know I got to step my game up, man. I didn't even know what the StreamYard was.
Man, you got it, man.
Sponsorship StreamYard. You better stop playing with these. They got 100-something episodes. Y'all better quit playing with them, man.
Right.
Wow, we on that first thing tomorrow.
Send an email.
Man. Show them this episode and be like, look at at the end. Just show the last clip. Like, you gotta put this man and say, look at her. She ain't
right. StreamYard. Right.
But y'all let me know, man. I know y'all busy. Black History Month is funny, because I told myself, man, all the Black people gonna be doing something, so I'm gonna reach out. Because I was gonna reach out before, but I was like, this is a perfect time to reach out. I got a likelihood of them not saying no and saying yes. So
we would have said, yo,
Black History Month, Black people doing it. Let's go ahead, y'all.
You'd active.
We would have never said no, man.
You'd have hit us in March. We'd have been like, nah.
Nah, he lying. We would have waited till June and Father's Day.
Stop playing,
I
appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
like I said, I can't wait to us to have another conversation, man. Hit me up with the address. I'm gonna work on the Selector, aka Skeletor poster, and I'm gonna work on getting y'all some of that Strike Brewery, even if I gotta drive over to San Jose, man, and get something for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too, man. Thanks a lot, man.
I don't know if I gotta leave first or y'all leave, but
we all leaving at the same time, man.
All right, man. I'll see y'all next time, man.
All right, guys. Have a good